Here are the 6 common mistakes that we're seeing in real estate negotiation almost every single day. And watch until the end of the video where I provided 5 different tips here. You will be able to negotiate a better deal on your next one. So we're seeing a lot of common mistakes in real estate negotiation, and today we're going to try to break it down into 6 different common mistakes that beginner investors always make. By the end of this video, you should be able to pinpoint exactly what mistakes you are making and then what kind of tips that can actually help you overcome your current negotiation mistakes. So number 1 is not understanding your angle for the negotiation. A lot of people might be coming into a deal with the understanding that I need to be closing this property at, for example, 500,000. And when they really hit that goal, then all of a sudden they were like, the deal seems a little too easy. I gotta go even under, but the number already makes sense to you at this moment. So one biggest common mistake is that people over negotiate the deal and end up killing the deal. My recommendation on this one is to always understand your max offer. If you can actually get under your max offer, it's already a good deal, right? Based on your analysis. So if you find yourself doing this, my advice to you is to always recognize that you already achieved the result that you get. Don't overkill it, because the momentum in real estate investing is actually way more important. So move on, find your next project. Now the second one, let's say if you're unable to actually achieve that and you're wondering why, it might also be because you're fighting way too quickly. In negotiation, one of the common mistakes is that when we get on a call with the seller, wholesalers, or even the realtors, we want to ask about the price way too quickly. And if you really think about the psychology of the human being, the moment that you're trying to fight immediately, what's the other side going to do? They're going to try to either fight or defend. This is the biggest problem when you're just getting on a call and just initiating the conversation with any potential seller. It is very important for you to actually try to build that rapport, build that relationship, because people don't want to do business with people that they don't like. If you find yourself always trying to fight, or your tonality is a little too aggressive, just make sure you tone it down. Very first couple calls is to gather information and understand what the other side's motivation is. Now, leading into the third common mistake is that people were negotiating the wrong currency. And what do I mean by that? Let me explain quickly. Everybody has a different motivation, different goal when they're trying to sell their property. Price is not the only thing. Every seller is a motivated seller. It's just the level of motivation is different. The level of desperation is different. Understanding the reason why they're trying to sell is extremely important. Some sellers do want to sell for a top dollar because maybe they're okay with testing the market a little bit. But some people, they do have a very restricted timeline that they need to sell this property, and that's how the price can come down. And by the way, here's a pro tip. You're never really negotiating the price, just so you know. Most of the time, we're negotiating the timeline. And number 4, the moment that your desire is high, your power of negotiation drops. The more that you want it, you can't negotiate that well because the other party is ready to walk away. Buying a real estate, you don't need to rush. There's always deal out there. That's one good thing about being a buyer. Buyer, you can always choose. If you don't want to close it, you don't have to close. Seller do need to sell. Number 5 is try to negotiate everything together. The moment that you bundle up all the deficiency, all the problems together and try to get people to give you a discount price, what's going to happen from the other side is that they're going to say, hey, listen, we do agree that there's certain things that needs to be fixed up, but they disagree with the price. So what they're going to do is that they're going to bundle everything together, and maybe you're trying to ask for 30,000 deduction. They might say, I can do 30,000 with all the problems that you just pointed out, but I can give you 15,000. So you ended up getting a discounted price on the items that you're trying to get a discount. So do not negotiate everything all together at once. Negotiate one thing at a time so that you can get a full price on the deduction that you're trying to ask for. Now, the last thing is, if you don't fall into any of the categories here, then you might just be doing the negotiation in the wrong sequence. So what I really mean is that if you can negotiate gently from the very beginning, gather information, build report, and then try to figure out why they're selling, what their timeline is, maintain your tonality, maintain your relationship with either the agents or the seller, and try to have a consistent storyline, which is something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But here's the thing, negotiation is that you're coming in slowly, gently, and then you're only doing the hard negotiation at the end. And the reason why you want to go through this process, after spending multiple different hours of discussion with you and confirming that you're the right buyer, now their desire on closing this property becomes much higher, which reduces their power of negotiation. And this is where you can be like, oh, you know what, everything sounds good, but I have one condition that I just need that to be fulfilled, and I leave that to you. If you can do a hard negotiation, now the seller will want to actually just pay and get rid of that property and then close the deal. That's how we close hundreds of real estate deals. If you enjoyed the video so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and join our Facebook group for more private sessions like this. 6 problems, now let's talk about the solution. Tip number 1 is that you do want to make yourself likable. Remember, we're talking about negotiating it gently in the very beginning. You want to make yourself likable. And this is really important because people don't want to do business with people that they don't like. Number 2 is make sure your storyline is consistent. The moment that your story doesn't actually add up, what's going to happen is that it makes you less credible. You can make the seller feel like you're just lying your way into this. Number 3 is that make sure you're leading the conversation, asking leading questions, because it is really important that you're pushing them into this process and try to get a bit of conclusion every time you had a discussion with them. One of the things that we see with the beginner investors, we get sidetracked with the things that actually don't matter that much. For example, HVAC. If you're getting 50K under market value, a rental HVAC is actually not something that we need to particularly care about because we already got a huge discount on the purchase price. And you should really make sure that whatever questions you have is getting answered and not being deflected in many different ways. And number 4 is tonality matters. And the reason why I say that is that when Joey calls my name, hey Ping versus hey Ping, 2 exact same words can mean 2 different things. So make sure you always review your call and try to increase the positive response from the same questions that you're asking for different sellers. And number 5 is objections handling. This is very critical because you will realize that as you're talking to more and more people, the same type of questions will be asked to you all the time from different parties. So it is really important if you can actually build a Q&A for yourself and you just keep refining your answer to the point where it's always leading to a yes. This will increase the success rate of every single negotiation that you're doing. Because here's the thing, even if you're unable to actually close a property, it is really important to actually build a rapport, have that pleasant conversation with whoever you're talking to, because you're making yourself likable, more people will want to work with you, more people will put up good work for you, and that is great for your reputation.